Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Prison Break event on the blog and also checking out in-game as well. So we'll read through the blog. It says, Prison Break event, you hear rumours being whispered here and there, a plan seems to be hatching, an opportunity has risen to stage a huge prison break. We need to help arm the prisoners so they can help put pressure from the inside. And here's the event overview. A new solo event mission, Prison Break, is coming, in which players will be able to obtain straight razors. These straight razors can be used in the black market to obtain S-class cards, armory tokens and more. Check out the details below. The start date is the 12th of June at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, so obviously the event has already started. It only lasts a week. It goes until the 19th of June at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Now there are a bunch of missions, and I'm just going to scroll through and we're going to look at them in-game, but these are the missions that you can do, and it's basically like the one we had before. I can't remember what it was for. We've had quite a few black market missions now. We just attain stuffing like I think it was the shivs, and then you could, trade them in, whereas the shivs reset on a daily basis. These are going to reset and just be up for the entire week. So it's just, I think they're just trying to test out different sort of like formats of how these could work, because it's only going to be a week-long event. It goes on to say, for all this hard work, players will be able to trade in their hard-earned straight rages to help the prison break efforts and obtain awesome rewards. Have a look to see what you could be able to get during the event. So there are a couple of S-class boxes, and again we'll look at these as well. In terms of the rewards, you get S-class cards. There are a couple of 6-star boxes as well, and again we'll look at those once in game. And there are a couple of gear boxes, Lilith Ulysses and armory tokens. Okay, going over to in-game, we'll check out what's going on here. And if we go to the missions, I am in a brand new region just so I can check the missions out from the start, because I have made some progress already in my main regions. And the possible rewards here are 5,700 straight razors, and you've got a week to achieve this. We'll go through it. There is Prison Break 1, so we'll look at Prison Break 1. If you complete all of Prison Break 1, you get to choose between raid cans and world energy cans. You do need to spend world energy cans and raid cans for future missions, so depending on which one you need the most, I'd claim that. You only need to spend 6 raid energy cans for a future mission, and I think you need to spend 10 world energy cans for a future mission. That's just worth noting. Now these missions are quite straightforward. Collecting 10 million food is actually quite easy in the depot. You can do that in the gear depot, and you just need to claim that 4 times, and that's 10 million food collected. It's not too expensive in the amount of tokens that's going to get you, and with all the level ups going on, you're probably doing that anyway. Now the next 3 is just about leveling and upgrading characters. This isn't going to be too difficult over the entire week for the majority of people. 6 stars S-classes are included within this number. Now for the upgrade one, you can just do veteran rings here if you so wish. Upgrades is basically, upgrading from tier 1 to tier 2, tier 2 to tier 3, tier 3 to tier 4, that sort of thing. But if you haven't got anyone who can upgrade, like I say, you can do 2 veteran ring upgrades. Just make sure you do them separately, so like 1 upgrade and then another upgrade. If you do them 2 at the same time, it still only counts as 1. You get a lot of straight razors for that, so it's definitely worth doing. I think in total for this one, you get around about 1,000. Let's have a little look. You get 1,300. So you get just under a quarter of the straight razors that you can get here in the first section of missions, and there are 5 sections, so this is probably one of the best ones to do. Try and focus on this. I think most people will do this quite naturally, although some people may not level up 6 stars as much as they level up 5 stars at the moment. Onto the Prison Break 2 section of this Prison Break missions, and if you complete this you get 10 burts, just 10 trainers. It's a little bonus, and a lot of this is going to revolve around mod scraps and mods basically. Collect 100,000 mod scraps and you'll get 100 straight razors, 200,000 mod scraps and you'll get 200 straight razors. I'm pretty sure you can't do this naturally. I think you're going to have to basically, claim some crates, but it is going to be a week's long. I can't remember how much you can claim on a daily basis. Honestly, I haven't claimed mod scraps daily for a while just because I'm maxed out a lot of the time. I'm sitting at like 300,000-400,000, so I'm in maybe a bit of a jam there. I might have to start upgrading mods to be able to collect on a daily basis. I do have bags, fortunately, but I don't really want to claim those, if I'm honest. And realistically, the rewards you're getting here aren't that high, so I might play it by ear and see, if I think it's worth it by the end of the event. You also have to level up mods, and you can do that with bronze mods. 15 times is pretty straightforward. Scrapping 1 platinum mod for 400 straight razors you may see as not worth it, especially if you haven't got a bad one. If you've got a really terrible one like crit set, defense down resist, yeah, you could say, hey, that's actually terrible, I'm never going to use that ever. But if you have got Survivors Club, if you scrap 2 mods, you get 1 set mod of your choice in Platinum. So It's debatable whether this is worth it. 400 straight razors doesn't get you too much in the black market, and you'll see that in a moment when I look at the rewards there. Looking at Prison Break 3, you get a radio, a watch as a rewards. Pretty useful. You need 5 of each of those to tier 3 an S-class character, so I mean it's 20% of the total that you require in that reward. So it's something. It's going to help, but it's not going to be too much of a difference. The most of this is going to be to do with SR raids, basically spending energy. 30 SR stages is not going to be too hard because there is an SR tournament on right now. The 4 entries in arena is separate entries. You can do that with free entries, or you could do that with spending separate tickets. Make sure you do spend them separately and not do like a 3 hit, because the 3 hit will count as 1 most likely. Use 6 raid energy refills. There is a raid tournament coming up next week, so you can hold off until early next week if you want to do those raid energy refills then. And then the wild energy refills shouldn't be too much of a problem, just because I think a lot of people are spending heavy amounts of energy right now, because the kendama events are always really heavy on the amount of energy you require, especially if you do the 10 times kendama entry roadmap. There's like 40 energy a stage at the last act, 30 energy a stage at the third, and you're at least getting through 1 or 2 cans there, most likely 2 or 3. So yeah, this shouldn't be too much of a problem in terms of just doing this quite naturally. If you are competing in events, competing in tournaments, trying to hit milestones, you should actually be able to do this without a problem. Prison Break 4 is the same as Prison Break 3 in terms of the top reward, but you're giving GPS and canteen. This is actually pretty nice. Obviously these are much harder to come by in general. A lot of this is to do with the armory. Some of these missions I'm not really a big fan of, but we'll look at them. Use 20,000 armory tokens is when you claim the weapon from building it, not when you start the craft. So if you have got crafts already going, you're going to get the benefit of that. Personally, I've got a 10,000 armory token craft going right now, so when I claim it, that's going to be me getting half of this done. The next one's a collect 3 bloat torches. That's actually going to be pretty difficult. You can only really do that if you get placement in arenas, which is going to mean you're going to have to spend a lot of tickets. I'm pretty much going to guess that Prison Break 4 and 5 are going to mainly be about spending, or going over the top on what you would normally do. If you place, I think, in the top 5 of Champions Arena, you also get some blowtorches, or if you buy them in the store, you're going to get some blowtorches as well. And then here we have collect 1 epic weapons, and I believe that's going to be basically like you have to pull a 5-star weapon. That's actually incredible that that's even a mission, considering it is a 1% chance on those wheels. But it could potentially include the epic weapons from the league store, from the season store. So if you haven't purchased those yet, and you did purchase them now, you could get 300 straight razors just for doing that. Craft on a 5-star weapon 3 times. That one is a bit annoying, because you could just do like, I think 1% upgrades for attack, for instance. But I'm pretty sure when you reset a 5-star weapon, no matter what it has on it, it's always going to cost you armory tokens. So that's going to cost you 6k armory tokens to reset it, basically. Now you could try and go for actual proper crafts on 5-star weapons and then reset them if they're not the thing you actually want. So there is the upside there, but if you want to get this done quickly, or if you don't have much time, or you don't have any particular thing you can go for, then you're going to have to effectively spend 6k armory tokens to get that. And when we look at the black market, you'll see how many armory tokens you can actually get for 300 straight razors. It's actually not beneficial to do that unless you're doing it like naturally. If you're doing it naturally, then it's absolutely fine. And lastly, we have Prison Break 5, and this is pretty much all just spending. Every single much of this bit of this is spending. Collect 1,000 coins, which generally will mean buy 1,000 coins. You could potentially get 1,000 coins in a week from videos and offers. I'm not sure if it counts inbox coins or not. I'm not sure how it's going to really work. Leagues could potentially count towards it, but leagues coins are really low at the moment for the majority of people. Only like 5 people get decent amounts of coins now. In a leagues week, the majority of people are getting much lower than they're used to. So, I mean, you might be able to complete this one, the collecting 1,000 coins. I prefer it being collecting 1,000 coins, though, than spending 1,000 coins, just because it forces your hand to spend coins that you otherwise wouldn't want to, and that's a really bad experience, in my opinion. And then the last 3 are just about opening S-Class characters. Open S-Class recruits 1 time, 3 times, and 10 times. So, for a grand total of 1,300, the same that you would get for the entire first set of the Prison Break missions, you get for opening a temple. If you do a temple, you get the other 2 finished as well. It is a cumulative, so if you do a 1 pull, it will count 1 pull to the next 2. So it's best to do a temple if you do intend on actually completing this, just in terms of how cheap it would be for your coins. It would cost you 2,200, but it's hard to know if that would actually be worth it or not. So in the black market, you can see here the rewards. The first crate is what I would see is like the premium crate. At least it should be the premium crate in terms of it's the best crate. It's got the least amount of cards in it. These should be the best characters. However, 2 of these characters are on the daily roadmap, so a lot of people have these characters already. Personally, I have both of these characters as S-Class, and that would be Mercer and Princess. The other 2 characters which are not available very easily, one of them's terrible. For instance, Eugene is not a very good character at all. And Shiva, while she is good, I mean, this is pretty much it. And if you don't want Shiva, then this crate is not very good for you. And for me personally, it's not very good for me, because I do not want Shiva. What's the point of this crate? Not for me. Nope. But if you do need Princess, this is a decent crate for you, because Princess is a great character. She's easily the best character in this crate. So if you want Princess, need Princess, definitely go for that. The next crate again, now while they are in the daily roadmap, they are actually a little bit harder to come by now because they're not in things like war rewards and stuff like this. If you do not have Pri already, it's definitely the easiest pick out of this crate. She's definitely the best character, probably in both of those crates combined. She's the most important character. Princess is a close second though. But the fact you get 60 cards for Priya here and you get 35 for Princess makes Priya the easy pick. Those crates cost exactly the same as well, 875 a piece. Now we get on to the 6-star crates, and this is where things go get a little bit crazy, because they're not very good characters for straight up. They're more collector pieces. If you love these characters, for instance, I love this Sandy, use this Sandy a lot in the 6-star era, not useful at all now. I've got this Conrad, was great fun in the 6-star era, not useful at all now. The only character that's available in this crate that's useful is Lewis, because he's got disarm, but he's so heavily offensive that's going to be a massive problem for him. If he was a bit more defensive, so like if he had 800 less attack stat and 400 apiece in defense and HP, it would be a little bit better for you. But even then, he's still going to be really, you know, low stats, and he could get one shot pretty much by any tough character on the defense team. And lastly, we have Morgan, who was once upon a time a beast, but nowadays not so much. S-Class characters just blow damage dealing 6-star characters out of the water. I think it would have been better to make like this, like all the commands or characters like that, Dr. Stevens, Slater, these kind of characters that people would actually be able to use, that people actually do use right now. So people are attacking defense teams with a potential Slater on the defense team, like, damn, this guy's good, and then he's in this crate, then you can still get him. He's not in this crate. This crate is pretty much useless except for Lewis, and even then, I would mainly only pick up Lewis if you were a collector, and that's a heavy investment though, 3,750. You could claim like nearly 300 cards of Priya, or like 250 cards of Priya with that, and I'd say that's, even though that's only like 2.5% of Priya, I'd still say that was better, you know, more worthwhile. Now the next 6-star crate has a good character in it as well. It's Diego, but the rest are pretty much the same situation. Beta was a lot of fun just because of all the AP gains. Glenn was a pretty decent defense team character back in the day, and then Princess was just a little bit of fun on defense teams. Didn't really work properly as well as she could have, but they're all useless now in the 6-star era. They're only going to pack out an SR team to a certain extent, and I mean easy SR. The second you get in hard SR, they're getting destroyed. And I would say pretty much should avoid this crate unless you're really desperate for Diego. He can make some really big things happen for your team, but again, same issue that we have Lewis faces, that he's very offensive for a character that's not really going to do any damage in the S-Class era. If he had 3,000 defense and 1,700 attack, that would be a lot better for you, but that's the way it's going to be. He does allow you to use tough and strong characters together on an attack team, which is kind of nice, and his defense down is very good as well, but again, very expensive, 3,750. Now we get on to like the little prizes, and honestly, I think this is where I'm going to be sticking with my rewards, just because I kind of need gear. I kind of need all this stuff, so I might as well go for it, right? So little pieces of gear, you only get one piece. It's not really that much. I would rather my whatever it is 10 to 15 pieces of this gear than one of those 6-star characters, for instance. The same can be said for this one. I probably won't go for this one first because I do seem to have an abundance of the high-end gear. I think this is because in some of the reward structures, they do give out this gear quite a lot, and they don't give out the lower end gear as much. It's harder to come by this stuff quite a lot. So then there is Lilith and Ulysses. I personally don't have any problems with these characters, so if you do, you know, claim them. But the price of them are pretty high in my opinion, but I think even this is pretty high, you know, 250 for one piece of gear, considering you need like 84 for an S-Class character. Pretty crazy. And then lastly we have armory tokens being 275 for 2,000, and if we go back to what we saw before, I think it was if you upgraded a 5-star weapon 3 times, you got 300, and then every time you reset it costs 2,000, so it's not worth doing. It's not worth doing unless you're doing it naturally. So if you're doing it naturally, fine. Don't just upgrade it by 1% to reset it 3 times, because that'll cost you 6k and it'll get you 2k. If you are very close to getting one of these boxes, maybe you could say it's worth it. That's down to you. But for straight up, like, how it actually costs to get armory tokens in here and how much it's gonna, you know, give you for spending 6k, it's not worth it that way. So all in all, I think this event is kind of not that great, but it is only a week-long event. I'm personally going to stick to the low-end rewards. I think the high-end stuff, especially the 6 stars, is extremely expensive. I would avoid those at all costs, guys. They're not really going to give you much of a boost in your account. Things like gear and armory tokens are going to be better for you. Even the S-class shards, even if it is small amounts, are going to be better for you. I would only go for those 6 stars if it is literally a 6-star you've always wanted, and you're just going to literally collect dust in your roster, because that's mainly what they're going to do. But do tell me what you think about this event, what you're kind of aiming for in terms of the rewards. That is the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.